everyone, Niklsun here, and welcome back to Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. I'm your host, and on this show, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll be going over all of the day's movie news, as well as going over what it means for the production in general, such as casting decisions, trailer announcements, director announcements, things like that. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's Hot Topics. And the fight between Marvel and DC continues. I mean, this week has seen some of the largest scoops in terms of new movie information I've seen, at least in the last 5 years, if not almost the last decade. I mean, with Marvel's announcement, well, Marvel hasn't still officially come out and announced it, but Robert Downey Jr. joining Captain America 3, kicking off the Civil War storyline, which will take place over the entire Phase 3 storyline. Well, now DC has come out and said, you know what, Marvel, we're going to one-up you. And we're going to announce our entire slate through 2020. So that's what they've gone ahead and done. So we've got a lot of concrete information about not only which films we will be getting from DC, but the order they're going to be coming in, who's going to be directing certain films, as well as just these specific release dates for them. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So one thing that came out that I thought was kind of weird was the fact that Shazam, which has been one of the most talked about DC properties, is actually going to be one of the last movies released. But I'll get to that in a minute. I just thought that was kind of surprising. But Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice will be the first movie out the gate in March of 2016. Now, everybody's been speculating what's going to be the next film. Well, it turns out that the next film is going to be The Suicide Squad, going to be directed by David Ayer, who most people would know he wrote Training Day, but he's most recently directed such hits as End of Watch and the upcoming Brad Pitt World War II film Fury. So it was rumored for a while that he would be joining it, and that was actually El Mayimbe's other scoop that he had on Meet the Movie Press on Friday. So I said on yesterday's episode I would talk about the other one. Luckily, it was contained within this massive news story, because this is going to be today's episode. It's all going to be about DC. So the expected lineup of this is going to include, again, via El Mayimbe, it's going to include Deadshot, Harkness, and Vixen. Those are going to be the three leads. And then we're going to get Mind Boggler, Jakuli, Blockbuster, and Multiplex. Now, a lot of these characters are going to be unknown to a lot of people out there, and for good reason. I don't know a lot of these either. The only ones that I do know off the top of my head were Deadshot and Multiplex. And the only reason I know Multiplex is because he was most recently used as the villain in the second episode of the Flash TV series. So I thought that was kind of cool, that they're trying to set up or get people prepared in a way for certain villains to appear in the movies, even though the movies and TV shows are completely separate. They've not only already announced that, but later on in this, I'll confirm why that's officially official now. But the funny thing is, it's going to be a little bit similar to the Sinister Six. And this is going to come out right around the same time. If Sony continues on with their plans, Suicide Squad and Sinister Six, that's a tongue twister in its own right, are going to be released very close to one another. Suicide Squad is August 5th, 2016. Sinister Six is going to be released November 6th, I believe, 2016. So they're only a few months apart, and very similar themes, if you will. Casting right now is underway for the main three leads, Deadshot, Harkness, and Vixen, as well as Amanda Waller, who's kind of the Nick, if you will, the Nick Fury of the Suicide Squad. She's the overseer of that group. Essentially, she's the one who handpicks all the prisoners. Because a little bit of backstory on it, they're all contract killers and murderers and all this. They're all villains from the DC Rogues Gallery, and they get recruited by I think it's by the CIA, but I'm not exactly sure. It's by Amanda Waller and the company that she works for. I'm drawing a blank on who it is right now. But they are hired basically to be kind of like a rogue spec ops team who is not worried about risking their moral code or anything of that sort. They, really the dirtiest jobs that need to be done, they get this group to go ahead and do it. And so Deadshot will be the lead in the movie, and then all the other characters will kind of be side characters, with the exception of Harkness and Vixen. Those are also said to be two leads. So that's all we know right now on Suicide Squad, and that's going to open up on August 5th of 2016. The next movie that's going to be coming out is Wonder Woman. They've officially announced a standalone Wonder Woman film that will actually be hitting theaters before Justice League, which I honestly, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Justice League was going to happen and then they do Wonder Woman. But Gal Gadot will star in that film. And funny enough, it's actually going to be, in this new age of comic book movies, it's going to be the first female-led superhero movie. Marvel's been doing this since 2008, and they still don't even have a female-led superhero film on the docket that we know of. And Sony's just trying to hamstring one together to get it out there in time to be the first one. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case anymore. So that's all we know about Wonder Woman, but that will be opening up on June 23rd, 2017. That's not likely to get an announcement in terms of director or anything else until, I don't even think they're going to do that at Comic-Con next year. But it looks more and more likely that these companies are looking at Comic-Con as no longer a viable option to announce certain projects. It's just another venue for them. So only time will tell, but as it stands right now, this is all we have on Wonder Woman. The next film out the gate will be Justice League Part 1, and that will be coming out on November 17th, 2017. The movie is already confirmed to be directed by Zack Snyder. It's the confirmed cast for it right now is Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, or no, actually Gal Gadot's not even confirmed to be in it. It was Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Amy Adams. Those were the only three in the press release that were confirmed to be back. But what they did confirm as well for some of the other films that are coming out is they confirmed that Jason Momoa is going to play Aquaman. So we no longer have to worry about the worst kept secret in the world. But they also confirmed that the Flash will be a part of this cinematic universe. Now, whether he's a part of the Justice League Part 1 is another story. I would assume that he is, and there's even rumors that he's going to have a small role in Batman v Superman. It's kind of like a Justice League light. But Ezra Miller from The Perks of Being a Wallflower has actually been cast in the role of the Flash. We still don't know what iteration they're going to be doing, whether it'll be Barry Allen or Wally West or Bart Allen. I don't think they do Bart Allen. But Barry Allen right now is the Flash that they're using on the television series. I could see them trying to separate, as much as they would probably not want to, but if they could, to separate the two universes so that people are aware that these are two different characters. Because if they're both Barry Allen, it's not, I mean, not to say that people out there are not going to understand it or anything like that, but it would just be an unnecessary confusion when you could very easily just have Wally West. So, I mean, it all depends on which version they're going to go with. It just seems to me unnecessary to have it be Barry Allen when they already have that going for the TV show. So, I don't know. That's another story for another time. But Brainiac is still rumored to be the main villain in the film. And with Gal Gadot, I mean, it's Justice League, so we know Wonder Woman's going to be there. And Gal Gadot originally signed a 3-picture deal. She came out and admitted that she signed up. I it had something to do with like $500,000 was her payday for Batman v Superman, I think. But the funny thing is that this is Justice League Part 1, and Part 2 will be coming out in 2019. I'll get to that in a minute. But if she only signed for 3 films, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem to re-sign her. I hope they do it before Batman v Superman comes out, because if that comes out and she's a smash hit, then her stock rate is going to skyrocket. And if they lock her in early, and they say, you know what, we're going to get you for another 5 films, and we're going to lock you in at, $2 million a film, then they could very easily do that. And then after Batman v Superman comes out, and it turns out she plays Wonder Woman the best way that it could have been done, like a kind of a Heath Ledger type of situation, then she could very easily ask for $10 million a film. So if they lock her in early, I think that's a smart decision to do. But again, we're so far out from all these things that I don't think it's really going to affect anything right now. And we're not going to hear about any more updates, at least for a while. This is surprising that they went this far in depth. And it wasn't even an actual announcement to fans. It was for their shareholders. It was for everybody on Wall Street. And that's really kind of befuddling people out there right now. But I mean, I have a feeling that she's going to resign, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, in almost 3 years, so it'll be 3 years and 1 month, we're going to be getting a Justice League live action film based in a continuous or a connected universe, very similar to what Marvel has done, but in a different tone. I'm not going to get into it again like what I did on yesterday's episode, but we are in the golden age heyday of superhero films. Like, this is one of the best times, if you're a fan of this medium, this is one of the best times to be a part of it, to be involved in it. Whether it just be, similar to this, where we're just sitting here chatting, speculation amongst each other, or if you're actually involved in the productions of the movies. Like, this is the absolute... I don't even know the word to say. I really don't. Like, I'm speechless. This is just the absolute best time to be involved with this. I really don't know how else to say it. It's just incredible. But we're moving on. So after Justice League Part 1, in 2017, we're going to get a standalone Flash movie on March 23rd, 2018. It's going to star Ezra Miller, and it will not be connected to the Flash television series. They vehemently confirmed that, but not only that, I mean, they've already cast the actor, and I'm surprised by how young they've gone with the actor. He's going to be significantly younger than almost everybody else involved with it. I mean, you look at Jason Momoa, he's in his mid to late 30s. You look at Henry Cavill, he's in his 30s. You look at Ben Affleck, he's in his 40s. I mean, you got Ray Fisher, who's playing Cyborg. Absolutely. I mean, he's a little bit younger. I think he's in his late 20s, maybe around 30. But Ezra Miller is significantly younger. He's only like 21 or 22. So, I mean, that kind of gives us a hint as to the version of the character they're going to go with. Maybe he's a little bit more immature. Maybe he's going to be kind of a jumping off point or the audience's viewpoint of the overall universe, because we're going to feel more connected to somebody who's kind of stepping back a little bit from how everything else is connected, because he's going to be a kid. It's kind of like how if Spider-Man was involved in a group of superheroes, you'd kind of follow his viewpoint because he's going to be the odd one out. He's going to be so young and have a completely different viewpoint than everybody else that you're going to follow him. And they may end up doing that. I think that would be a really interesting way about going about it. But again, these movies are so far out that this is all we're going to get for years. Like 2018, we're 3.5 years away from that. And I don't know. I mean, The Flash is going to be taking up what Batman v Superman's release date was just 2 years later. So if Batman v Superman does really well, I think that shows that they have a lot of promise with The Flash, putting it in around the same date. So, I mean, only time will tell, but we don't have any other information about a lot of these projects. So it's just kind of the announcement that these movies are happening, they're tangible, and they are going to be part of this universe. But the next one after The Flash, which is going to be released on March 23rd, 2018, will be Aquaman, which will be released on July 27th, 2018. And they did confirm that Jason Momoa will be playing the character of Aquaman, which, I mean, that just further cements everything that we've been talking about for months. I think he's a perfect choice, especially if you guys have either read anything from the New 52 or if you have either played or seen anything from Injustice: Gods Among Us. Because if you go on YouTube, you can watch, it's like an hour and 45 minute long cut of all of the cutscenes from the video game. And they've kind of made a little movie out of it. And when you see Aquaman's character in that, I mean, not only is he just a badass, but he looks badass. Like, he looks like he's got the armor that Jor-El had at the beginning of Man of Steel. It's very reminiscent of that. He's got his trident. He just looks battle-hardened. I mean, I think they're going the right way with this character, especially getting somebody like Jason Momoa, who has shown that he is more than capable. I mean, he was basically offered the role of Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he turned it down because he didn't want to get pigeonholed into the silent, brooding henchman role. The just like angry guy who doesn't say a lot but can kick a lot of ass. He's tired of playing that role because he feels like he's been typecast in it. But he plays it so well. So I'm really glad to see him getting, this kind of standout starring role in an Aquaman movie, like a big DC superhero film. This is going to be great. There ain't going to be no Vinny chases around this one. I'm going to tell you that one right now. But yeah, I'm very excited for Aquaman. I think out of all the ones outside of Justice League, the ones that have been actually announced, I think that's the one that I'm most excited for because it has the most potential, I think. Aquaman gets a bad rap, and he doesn't deserve it anymore because they have updated the character. And they're very clearly going with a new 52 adaptation with all of these movies. So we're going to get that version of Aquaman, and I cannot be happier. So we're getting Aquaman on July 27th, 2018. The next film out the gate will be Shazam with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That'll be released on April 5th, 2019. Now, the only thing we know about that film is that The Rock, well, we know a couple of things, at least whether or not the people involved with actually making the film have come out and confirmed this. I don't believe they have. But Dwayne Johnson will be playing Black Adam. He will not be playing the character of Shazam. And I believe it was the head of production for Warner Brothers came out and was talking about the film, and he said that it's going to be a little bit lighter of a tone. It's not he said he's not a Justice League character. Now, whether or not that meant that he's just not going to show up in Justice League, but he will still be in the universe, I'm wondering if that's what that means now, because we have Justice League Part 1 and Part 2, and Shazam is going to be right in the middle of those two. So I'm wondering if they meant that character, like that movie, is not going to have any influence on Justice League, but it will still be in the universe. I still don't know. They haven't really cleared that up yet, so we still don't have all that much information about it. But it will be opening up April 5th, 2019. So, I mean, I don't think we're going to get a lot of information out of this movie for a while because, again, we're so far out. Like, they went so far with these release dates. It's insane. But the next movie we're getting after Shazam in 2019 will be Justice League Part 2. That will be released June 14th, 2019. Now, there has been no confirmed casting about this film, but you can definitely expect Affleck, Godot, Cavill, Fisher, who's playing Cyborg, Momoa, and Miller. You can definitely expect those guys as well. I have a feeling that that's what movie they're going to use to introduce the new version of Green Lantern, because Green Lantern is getting his own movie the next year. But before we get that, so I mean, Justice League Part 2, they already said that Zack Snyder will be directing both versions. Now, I wonder if, because Justice League Part 1 is not coming out until November of 2017. That is a year and a half after the release of Batman v Superman. And with Justice League Part 2 coming out a year and a half after that, I don't know if they're shooting Justice League back-to-back with Batman v Superman. They're going to shoot Justice League Part 1 and Part 2 back-to-back and go that route. So I think that they're going to give Zack Snyder a little teeny tiny break, like maybe a week off once Batman v Superman comes out, to start really hard hitting on Justice League. I mean, it all depends on what timeline they're able to set up. Because Zack Snyder right now, by the time Justice League Part 2 comes out in 2019, he'll have directed 4 films in a row for DC and Warner Brothers. So you're going to think he's going to want to take a little bit of a break, not a creative break. I'm not saying take a break and go do another film. I'm saying he's actually going to want to sleep at some point. So, I mean, whether or not they actually are doing that, we still don't know what their plans are. This is all speculation and conjecture. But I do think that'll be the likely space that they will use to introduce Green Lantern. But after that, we still don't know what Zack Snyder's going to be doing. And it's not even fair for us really to speculate, I don't think, because that's 5 years away. Like, that's 5 years away from now. So, I mean, who knows? But I do think that they're going to use that movie to introduce us to Green Lantern. Because on April 3rd, 2020, we're getting a Cyborg movie with Ray Fisher. And then on June 19th, 2020, we're getting the Green Lantern movie. Now, they didn't specifically come out and say it, but this will be a rebooted Green Lantern. They're not going to keep the continuity of the Green Lantern movie that came out with Ryan Reynolds. They're going to just say that never happened. Although the original report that came out from Nikki Fink did specify that the Green Lantern movie would actually be a Green Lantern Flash team-up film. And I'd be really down for that. Anybody who's watched any of the DC animated films knows that when those guys get together, it's really entertaining. It's one of the best team-ups that they have, just in terms of entertainment, as opposed to like Batman and Superman or Iron Man and Captain America. I found them really entertaining, and they get along really well. Sometimes when they bicker, I mean, it's just... they're both smartasses, and that's what really works, and that's why I think that could really work as a team-up film. And that could also be like an unofficial sequel to The Flash, because that'll have been 2 years since the Flash standalone movie. But again, all conjecture, all speculation. Those are the only ones that have been officially announced with release dates, but they also did add on to the end of that at some point after, most likely in 2021 and 2022, I can't believe we're talking about that far away, but we will be getting a standalone Batman film and a standalone Superman film. That, to me, I think pushing Batman that far, I think is... I don't actually, you know what, now that I think about it, because we got Batman v Superman, and then a year and a half later, we're going to get Justice League, and then a year and a half later, we're going to get Justice League Part 2, and then a year and a half later, that would be 2021, or November of 2020, or sometime in 2021, we'll get a Batman film. And so that'll have been 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years every time. That makes sense. I don't mind that. I don't know, maybe just for the regular going audience, they may want to see a Batman film a little bit earlier. It all depends on reception, because this is so far ahead that this could very easily change. They could very easily go in and say, you know what? Cyborg didn't test well with people in Batman v Superman. And then in Justice League, he tested even poorer. So we're going to pull that movie and we're going to replace it with something else, or we're just going to pull it and focus on the other films, maybe replace it with Batman, or Superman, or whatever the case may be. So they do have room to work with. They can move these. They can push them off. They can pull them closer. It all depends on the schedule. It all depends on what works and the reception of all the characters. This is also all contingent on Batman v Superman being a hit. I mean, I don't think there's any question that the movie's not going to knock it out of the box office. But if early word comes out, let's say that Warner Brothers and DC are looking at it and saying, we need this movie to be a massive hit. So they start doing test screenings really early. And the test screenings are not received very well. Well, that will start negative word of buzz saying, just saw a first cut of Justice League and it's terrible. Or just saw a first cut of Batman v Superman and it was terrible. And then, 2 months later, they do a new test audience with minor adjustments here and there. And it's terrible. And word of mouth building up over several months before the movie's release. And then the initial reviews coming out and saying this movie is utter trash. You're going to get a lot of people curious about the movie who will want to go and see it regardless of the reviews. But that will happen, return, and replay. So getting people to go back to the movies and taking other people who haven't seen, like, you haven't seen that movie? Oh my God, we got to go and watch it. So, I mean, all of this is kind of contingent on whether or not Batman v Superman is successful or not. I have no doubt that it will be. I mean, you got the same creative team that was behind Man of Steel doing Batman v Superman. I mean, they're just going to take what worked in that film and just make it better. And a lot of people's complaints about that movie, like the destruction and stuff like that, they did that for a reason. That's going to be like the catalyst for the story of Batman v Superman, about how people fear this man or this alien god, because as soon as he came to Earth, or at least as soon as he showcased his powers, all this destruction happened because an alien race came to invade because they found that he was there. He's now a threat. And there's going to be other people who are going to be supporting him, but like, this is all just, there's so much here. I'm just so, it's almost exhausting now. I mean, with the Marvel announcement and then this, I don't even want to know what Marvel's going to do tomorrow. I mean, they're going to come out and announce, we got this is Doctor Strange. These are the next 3 movies that we're going to do. This is going to be the villain in Avengers 3. This is the new Avengers lineup down the road in 2027. I mean, I hope that they have enough common sense to not do anything. This is enough. This should have been spread out over several days, if not several weeks. They should have come out and said, you know what? The first 2 movies out the gate, after Batman v Superman, will be Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman. And then next week saying, confirmed, Zack Snyder directing Justice League Part 1 and Part 2 to be released in 2017, 2019. And then the week after that saying, in between the Justice League movies, we will have a Flash, Aquaman, and Shazam movies. Standalone films. And then after Justice League, we're going to have a new Batman film. And they could do that over like 2 months. But, I mean, they chose to do it all at a shareholders meeting. So, I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm super happy that this was announced. I am overjoyed, ecstatic about this, because this is something to really look forward to. I mean, we're now getting an idea and a sense of what films we're going to be getting over the next 5 years, and we can really see the universe mapping itself out. So I think that's really, really cool. But I mean, we just don't have any concrete information about the storylines of these films, and we're not going to get that until well after Batman v Superman comes out. They're not going to do that because I think that Batman v Superman, like Man of Steel, is going to have implications on this whole other universe. They are taking a page out of Marvel's book, and they are using certain films as launching pads for new themes to showcase within their cinematic universe. And because right now they're just starting off with this, I think we're going to get a major one in Batman v Superman come March 2016. And that's going to bleed into all these other films. And then there's going to be the game changer that is Justice League in 2017. I cannot be more excited right now. This is amazing. So yeah, this is all the information that we have right now on the entire upcoming DC slate all the way up through 2020, and even some films after that. They just don't have dates. But when we get more information about any of these topics, you guys can bet your bottom dollar that I will update you guys on here. Well, that'll about do it for us here on Coming Soon Movie News with Niklsun. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been a great audience. Why don't you go ahead and click the subscribe button there. You can get updates whenever we post a new video. You can also follow me on Twitter at Niklsun, Niklsun, for all of your movie updates. And also give us a like on our Facebook page at facebook.com/movie news with Niklsun. If you guys ever have a question or a topic that you'd like to have talked about on the show, you can go ahead and put a comment in the comment section, or you can email me at movienewswithniklsun, Niklsun, @gmail.com. and we'll answer them on every Friday episode. And until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.